The business trip was a last-minute affair, one of those things thrown together with hurried flights and a cheap hotel booking. The place was called the Sleepy Hollow Inn, which I found vaguely amusing. It was one of those sprawling, older motor inns, with long, open-air corridors and doors that faced a dimly lit parking lot. My room was on the second floor, number 217. It was clean enough, if a little dated. Brown carpet, a faded floral bedspread, and that specific, sterile smell of industrial cleaner, trying to mask decades of cigarette smoke. I dropped my bags, kicked off my shoes, and fell onto the bed. It was late, close to midnight, and I was exhausted. I must have drifted off for a bit, because I woke up with a start, the room pitch black and silent. And then I heard it, a soft, rhythmic sound. Scrape. Pause, scrape. Pause. It was coming from the room next door, 219. It sounded like someone dragging a piece of furniture across a wooden floor, but this place was all cheap. Rough carpet. Primera rolled over, trying to ignore it. Maybe they were just settling in. The scraping continued for another 10 minutes. A steady, grating rhythm, before it abruptly stopped. The silence that followed felt heavier than before. The next morning, I was grabbing a stale Danish from the continental breakfast in the lobby when I saw him, the man from room 219. He was standing by the coffee machine, his back to me. He was tall and unnervingly thin, wearing a wrinkled gray suit that seemed a size too big. He turned, and I got my first good look at his face. He was pale, with dark, sunken eyes that seemed to drink the light from the room. He wasn't old, maybe my age, but he looked worn down, eroded. He caught me looking and gave a small, tight-lipped smile that didn't reach his eyes. I quickly looked away, suddenly feeling like I'd intruded on something private. That day was filled with mind-numbing meetings. By the time I got back to the hotel, it was dark again. As I walked along the second-floor corridor, I noticed the door to room 219 was ajar. A sliver of yellow light cut across the concrete walkway. I couldn't help but glance inside as I passed. The room was identical to mine, but completely bare. No luggage, no clothes thrown over a chair. The bed was perfectly made, the floral bedspread flat and undisturbed. It looked like no one was staying there at all. I quickened my pace, my heart starting to pound a little faster. I fumbled with my keycard, unlocked my door, and shut it quickly behind me, sliding the deadbolt and the chain lock into place. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he was checking out. Maybe he was just a very, very tidy person. I turned on the TV, hoping the noise would distract me. An hour later, just as I was starting to relax, the scraping started again. Scraping pose. And scraping pose. It was louder this time, more insistent. It sounded like it was right up against the shared wall. My skin prickled. I turned the TV volume up, but the rhythmic grating sound cut right through it. It went on and on. I imagined the man in the empty room, dragging something heavy back and forth. Back and forth. What could he possibly be moving? I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the old building, every car that pulled into the parking lot, made me jump. Around 3 a.m., the scraping finally stopped. I lay in the dark, my ears straining, listening to the suffocating silence. Then, a new sound began. Tapping. 3 soft, deliberate taps on the wall that connected our rooms. Tap. 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 I held my breath. It was so quiet, I wondered if I'd imagined it. A minute passed. Then again, tap. 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 Right behind my headboard. Tap. This wasn't just noise anymore. This was communication, a question hanging in the air between our rooms. I didn't move a muscle. I lay there, rigid, staring at the ceiling until the first hints of gray morning light crept through the gap in the curtains. I didn't answer the taps. I didn't make a sound. The next day was my last. I dreaded going back to the hotel, but I had no choice. As I approached my room, I saw that the door to 219 was now wide open. A cleaning cart was parked outside. A woman was inside, stripping the bed. Primera slowed down, trying to seem casual. "Excuse me," I said, my voice a little shaky. "Did the guest in this room check out?" The cleaning lady, a middle-aged woman with a kind, tired face, looked at me, confused. "What guest, honey?" she asked. "No one's been in this room for over a week. We've just been waiting for maintenance to come fix the floorboards. They warped something awful in the humidity." She pointed to the floor by the my wall. A large section of the carpet had been pulled back, revealing the dark, warped wooden planks underneath. They were covered in long, deep scratches. A wave of dizziness hit me. I mumbled a thank you and practically ran to my room, my hands shaking so badly it took me 3 tries to get the keycard to work. I packed my bags in a frenzy, not even bothering to fold my clothes. I just threw everything into my suitcase. All I could think about was getting out. Out of that room, out of that hotel. As I was zipping my bag, my eyes fell on a small, white piece of folded paper that had been slipped under my door. I hadn't seen it before. My heart hammered against my ribs. I knew I shouldn't. I should just leave it, but I couldn't. My fingers trembled as I picked it up and unfolded it. On the paper, written in a shaky, spidery script, were just 3 words. "I know you're there." I dropped the paper as if it had burned me. I didn't grab my coat. I didn't do a final check of the room. I grabbed my suitcase and my laptop bag and I fled. I didn't check out at the front desk. I ran to my rental car, threw my bags in the back, and peeled out of the parking lot, the gravel crunching under my tires. I drove for 2 hours straight, not even turning on the radio, until the sun was high in the sky and the sleepy Hollow Inn was 100 miles behind me. It's been years since that trip. I've stayed in dozens of hotels since then, for work, for vacations. But I never sleep well on the first night. I lie awake and listen. I listen for the scraping. I listen for the tapping. And sometimes, in the dead of night, when the hotel is quiet and the world is asleep, I can almost hear it, that soft, rhythmic scrape on the other side of the wall. And I wonder, if I knocked back, who or what might be waiting to answer.